Hello, South Florida. I'm Gilena Restrepo.
I'm Anya Joseph. Today's Wednesday, March 9, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
It's tires versus tanks in the Ukrainian city of Mykolaiv, where people resisting Russia's lethal invasion are setting up Tire City's entrance to set ablaze when Russian forces approach.
President Biden warns that gas prices will continue to rise after the U.S. announced it is banning all imports of Russian energy.
Yesterday, President Biden announced the U.S. will ban Russian oil, gas, and coal after days of serious deliberation. Originally, the president was reluctant to implement the ban due to concerns it would greatly affect the global energy markets and U.S. gas prices.
This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin. We will not be part of subsidizing Putin's war.
Lawmakers in both parties were in full support of this decision, arguing that Russian President Putin shouldn't profit from American purchases. The U.S. receives less than 10% of its energy from Russia, which means this will shut off the relatively small flow of the oil into the U.S.
A couple's cross-country drive from Miami to California ended with one of them being killed. As Tyler Fingert from WALA reports, the girlfriend is accused of intentionally hitting her boyfriend with a speeding car.
A cross-country road trip turning into trouble over the weekend near the Alabama-Mississippi border. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says a man was hit and killed by his girlfriend on I-10 around 5 a.m. Sunday morning.
Initially, it started as a pedestrian struck on the interstate, and Aaliyah responded. And then as the case progressed, they realized it was an intentional act.
The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says the couple, 37-year-old Johanna Suarez and 48-year-old Henry Hernandez, were driving from Miami to California and had spent the night in Mississippi. They had just hit the road again Sunday morning, but mistakenly drove in the wrong direction, heading east instead of west. After an argument, investigators say Hernandez voluntarily got out of the car with his belongings on I-10 around mile marker 3.
She drove away, didn't get too far away. She turned around, began traveling westbound in the eastbound lane of I-10 and struck him at a high rate of speed, killing him pretty much instantly.
Investigators say this is the car Suarez was driving. Detectives say she drove it into Hernandez going 73 miles per hour. Investigators were able to figure that speed out by getting a search warrant to look at the car's black box. This picture shows just how significant the impact was.
A little small car, so it did all the airbags to include the side curtain airbags. So the car was disabled upon impact.
That was WALA's Tyler Fingert reporting. Johanna Suarez was not injured. She has been charged with murder and is being held in jail without bond. Arraignment is scheduled for tomorrow.
A settlement is in place this morning for the families of the Surfside condo collapse victims. The families have agreed to a $55 million settlement coming from 3 defendants in the class action wrongful death lawsuit. It's related to the June 2021 collapse of the Champlain Tower South building. The money comes from 2 engineering firms, one of which performed a structural analysis back in 2018.
The leader of the far-right Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, has been arrested in Miami for conspiracy and other major charges for the January 6 Capitol breach. Prosecutors say although Tarrio was not in Washington on the day of the Capitol breach, he helped organize and bring the far-right group together to go to D.C. and block the certification of Electoral College votes. Tarrio is denying he or his group had any participation.
A Supreme Court candidate with strong ties to South Florida meets with some of the senators who are being asked to confirm her.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Show the Florida legislature that what they are doing does not represent us.
Out of early education now just needs the signature of Governor Ron DeSantis. Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music.
Yeah.
Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
Classroom controversy: how early is too early to begin talking about sexual orientation and gender identity? In Florida, the answer will soon be third grade.
As reporter Layla Santiago from our news partner CNN reports, what critics have dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill now needs only the governor's signature.
Despite the statewide protests,
Show the Florida legislature that what they are doing does not represent us.
the emotional pleas,
I never knew that living my truth would cause church members to leave my dad's church. Or friends to stop talking to me.
22 yeas, 17 nays, Mr. President.
So the bill passes.
Florida's Senate passed Bill 1557, a bill that essentially bars teachers from discussing sexual orientation and gender identity in the classrooms of young students. The bill calls for procedures to reinforce the fundamental right of parents and prohibits instructions on sexual orientation or gender identity in K through third grade in a manner that is not age appropriate, but doesn't define what that means.
And we're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
There is no curriculum for K through third grade. And so if that's in sex education, so if that's the case, then what are we doing right now? Why is this even necessary?
Florida Democratic and openly gay Senator Chevron Jones argued the bill is a political move that is hurtful to the LGBTQ community. Critics refer to it as the Don't Say Gay bill, even though the bill does not specifically prohibit the use of the word gay. The spokesperson for Governor Ron DeSantis, however, on her personal Twitter account, has called it something very different: the anti-grooming bill. Grooming, a predatory practice used by sex offenders to gain trust and seduce children, which is not in the bill either.
There is an assertion that LGBTQ people simply by existing are a threat to children. That is bigotry. It's at the core of this bill.
The bill now heads to the desk of Governor Ron DeSantis, who is expected to sign it into law.
I think it's inappropriate to be injecting those matters like a transgenderism into a kindergarten classroom.
And to those who think you can legislate gay people away, I'm sorry. You
that
cannot.
was CNN's Layla Santiago. Even with the bill all but sure to become law, young people in Florida are still voicing their opposition to it. They're leveraging social media, traveling to Florida's capital, and staging protests, including classroom walkouts.
Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson met with Senator Cory Booker yesterday at Capitol Hill. Jackson is meeting one-on-one with senators this week, which is a ritual for nominees. If confirmed, Jackson will be the first Black woman appointed in the court's history.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak today. I'm Anya Joseph.
I'm Juliana Restrepo. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.